So Taken King is the next big thing happening to Destiny. Tons of stuff to talk about, many layers of it.
Yeah.
Specifically, we're talking about PvP. We're talking about updates coming to the Crucible.
Yeah.
What are they adding? Why are you excited about Taken King? Because you seem to be excited.
Very excited. On September 8th, the patch 2.0 will come out. So it's completely changing weapons and the way the game is going to be played from this point forward. If you don't own the Taken King, and if you haven't pre-purchased or anything, you can, on September 8th, take part in the new PvP. And then when Taken King comes out, you will then be locked out of that stuff unless you purchase Taken King. So it's kind of a trial, try before you buy kind of thing. It's very generous. What has me excited are the new modes. There's a mode called Rift and a mode called Mayhem.
This is all PvP.
This is all PvP. We're only talking about PvP today. Because of embargoes. So the generous thing is that this expansion has 8 new maps.
Yeah.
I think it's 7 on Xbox.
That's plentiful.
8 maps. I mean, that is such a big thing. I always get so frustrated in competitive shooters when it's just the same map rotation over and over. And I know Call of Duty, you'll get the 4 map for a map pack or whatever, and for $20 for 4 maps usually, or whatever the price is, I think it's usually $15. This just seems very generous, the 8 maps, and some of them are really, really cool. There's one that reminded me of The Last of Us. It was just kind of this overgrown, rundown city landscape. And there's some on the newer environments from Taken King, obviously, but the big mode that I want to talk about is Rift, and it is heavily focused on teamwork. There is a orb in the middle of the map that both teams need to get. When you get that, you have to take it into their base.
Okay.
So near their spawn. So you have to grab it, run, and put it in their... It's basically like a basketball hoop. If you run forward, you do this really cool dive. You put it in. And I didn't even know...
Because airborne animations is what Destiny's all about. If anything's worth doing, it's worth doing after you double jump.
You don't even know. Okay, so if you back into the hoop with the ball, you walk backwards into it, your guy does a backflip, throws the ball, and slams it down. You get bonus points. Really, really cool.
Is Rift available on old maps?
We only played the new maps.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but some of the journalists were mad because on some of the maps for that mode, for Rift, the point was in the very center, in a very claustrophobic area. So it was just this bottleneck of chaos. But I loved that because then there were other maps. It was a variety,
Yeah.
There were other maps where it would be in a huge wide open space and there was a lot of sniping. So the variety.
And there's something to be said for that. That's why I kind of like King of the Hill maps and stuff. It's fun to just arbitrarily pick some random spot on the map and be like, this is where everybody needs to be. So kind of like the 50-yard line. It's where everyone's going to clash.
Yeah.
If that's your style, and I think it can be kind of frustrating when you're trying out a new mode or new maps or something like that because you don't have the option to do other things or to pick the type of modes or maps that you prefer.
Yeah. And so then there's the new classes, which is huge. Each character has a new subclass. And Hunter, I primarily play a Titan. They have the hammer, which is really great. It's like an AoE, just you rain death. You throw this hammer, you can throw it across the map. It's extremely powerful. I'm a little worried how powerful it is. It just hard counters the Blade Dancer. So Blade Dancer in PvP now, it will not be as strong because that has been so OP for a while. I love that Hunter has a new... Their class is more support because they've been lone wolf so long. So they have the bow and arrow. And it's not to get kills. It is a support ability. So what is so cool in Rift is that when the character runs in and tries to grab that ball and the Hunter launches the bow, it'll tether them. So many times I would run in and grab it and try to run, and they would tether, and I'd be like, ugh, and just be stuck. You can shoot the tether, but it takes some hits, and you're just so vulnerable.
And you have to hit the guy directly to tether him?
You just launch it on the ground, and it'll be this giant orb, and it'll tether targets. So it's completely support. When you get people working together, launching that thing, tethering people, and then a Titan comes in, just raining that hammer down. And then Warlock, ridiculous. Everyone's talking about the Palpatine lightning ability. It is crazy. But that gives a reason for Warlocks to get up close and personal because they've been a more range focused. So it's really cool because the lightning is really close quarters. So it's changing the way every class is played, which I love.
And you said Titan's like your class of choice.
Yeah.
How do you feel Titan's being affected? Are you happy?
The hammer is, I will say it, the hammer is OP. It is a joke.
Sounds like everybody's a little bit OP.
Yeah, it is strong. Unfortunately, the other mode we didn't get a chance to play. It's called Mayhem, where your super just keeps recharging every second. So, I mean, I don't even need to play to know that that'll just be exactly
Well, it's kind of what we were talking
is.
about, everybody clashing in the middle. It's like you kind of want, it's fun to like have those modes that are just crazy.
Yeah.
You know, to have something where you can just kind of run in. And I wonder if, when you're creating stuff like that balance-wise, if you're like, let's just for launch, for fun, let's maybe lean on the possibility of having these things be a little OP, and then we can dial them back, just so it's fun, you know, just so, you know, like you were saying, like you really do get stopped by hunters, you know, you really, like your play style, your expectations for the pace of the match do get kind of turned on you know, its head.
Yeah. So then other things to patch, the leveling is completely changed. This is all on the 8th. Level will now just be to kills and quests, and the level cap is now 40. Light is being transitioned into basically the best thing I can compare it to is item level, you know, like an RPG or like World of Warcraft. That just is a reflection of how strong your gear is. And I liked it. It just worked better. The number over your head is 40. Everyone's just 40. You know, you don't feel alienated. Yeah, your friend can have a lot more powerful gear, but the weird psychological thing that it's like, all right, we're both 40, you know, we're on the same level. His gear is just a little better. It just felt, you feel a bit more connected to your friends if they play a lot more.
At the same time, it's kind of going back to, you know, traditional MMO setups. I mean, that's the way it is in a lot of other, you know, non-shooter, like, you know, massively multiplayer games. Are you worried that, like, we're never going to be able to evolve this genre? That, like, we've kind of fit into this mold, and it's like, this is just the way it's got to be. So again, people can feel, you know, you get to level 110 or whatever, and what's the new WoW expansions coming out? Legion.
Yeah.
You know, it was like 110, 115. Like, you get to that level, and you know, everyone's at the same place, but then you can just visually tell people have different gear. Would you fault Bungie for maybe trying this weird system? Like, I guess it just didn't work out.
Yeah, no, I love everything that they have done. I spoke to Luke Smith, the creative director, directly. We had a very intimate conversation about what Destiny was and will be. And he's like, hey, I love RPGs. For this year that I am in charge of Destiny, I'm going to lean on that. And I was like, man, that's music to my ears. That's beautiful. So that's kind of what you hope, you know, Destiny is and will become, is just kind of this you know, amalgamation of RPG tropes and the shooter series. Are you into the story from what you've seen? I know we can't really get into that, but like, are you excited just for the package as a whole? There's things we can't talk about. Those things we can't talk about, are you excited about them? Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, then we'll get to those later. But now for PvP, and you can check that out. Will you be streaming the game and showing everybody all the new stuff on September 8th?
On the 8th, absolutely. There's a ton of stuff coming on the 8th, so I think for anyone that has been away, I think it is very worth diving back in and seeing what's new.
I have been away. I reviewed this game, but I have not touched it since. I've been away for a very long time, so looking forward to getting back in. Thank you for your enthusiasm and your time, Huber. And stay tuned, everybody.
Run! Ignite the rift! You ignited the rift. Good work, runner.